So a couple of weeks back, we reported on a quarterly meeting call between the Anheuser-Busch CEO, Michael Dworkis, or Dukaris, sorry. A little Freudian slip there, right? Dukaris, and very, very nervous investors. And the Daily Mail reported that the Anheuser-Busch CEO, in the Daily Mail's words, unceremoniously disowned the disastrous Dylan Mulvaney stunt, insisting it was not an official campaign for Bud Light. It was not an official ad campaign approved from the top. It was one can, guys, one can, referring to the Bud Light can bearing Mulvaney's face, which is now, I think, an emblem, a symbol of marketing absurdity, marketing disaster, right? How not to market your brand. And he said it was just one can. It was never meant for mass production. It was one incident. Guys, chill out. It wasn't a formal ad campaign, and we're putting a decisive stop to it. In other words, Bud Light threw Dylan Mulvaney under the bus. They wanted nothing more to do with this trans influencer, and let's all just pretend this whole disaster never happened. Now we're getting reports that disavowing of Dylan Mulvaney is having ripple effects among the wider trans influencer community, among wider brands. The New York Post is now reporting that trans influencers are experiencing a significant decline in brand partnership opportunities following the controversial Bud Light campaign involving Dil Mulvaney. So just a few months ago, Mulvaney is obviously a transgender influencer, enjoyed endorsements from prominent brands such as Nike, Bud Light, of course, and Maybelline, right? Mulvaney embarked on a very successful social media journey titled 365 Days of Girlhood. And all of that, of course, has collapsed from Mulvaney. But this disastrous partnership with Bud Light is now having subsequent backlash and ripple effects among trans influencers in general. So according to the Post, numerous trans influencers have come forward to express their concerns about the sudden drop in brand deals during a time when they're typically in high demand. And that's, of course, Pride Month. June's coming. So this is huge, right? I should be getting all these deals lined up for Pride Month. So Rose Montoya, a prominent trans influencer with over 1 million followers on TikTok and Instagram, never heard of this person, but Rose Montoya revealed a significant and uncharacteristic decline in the number of offers that Rose received. So last year at this time, Rose received over 100 brand partnership opportunities. This year, Rose has gotten barely a meager dozen. From 100 to a dozen. And Rose isn't alone. Another trans influencer by the name of L. Darren also confirmed a massive reduction in brand deals in the wake of the Dylan Mulvaney fiasco. So we're seeing a pattern emerge here. Just make sure to click on that link below and support our dear friend and Patriot, Mike Lindell, by getting yourself an amazing aromatic bag of Mike's brand new My Coffee. You can get Mike's wonderful specialty coffee conveniently delivered right to your front door. It comes in a variety of flavors, ground or whole bean, plus it's certified organic and non-GMO. And the best part is you'll know that with every single sip, you're supporting a true patriot who's fighting for freedom. Click on that link below or go to mystore.com. Use code Turley for 25% off, not just the coffee, but all of their products. It's so awesome. Click on that link below and enjoy the best patriotic products at their best savings ever with code Turley. As it turns out, it's not just Bud Light that's backing away from this approach. A whole host of brands are now proving that all of this woke nonsense is literally nothing more than a marketing gimmick. They don't care. Put that in your woke pipe and smoke it. These marketing executives that claim that they are the woke's best friend don't give a rip about wokeness. They're not woke in terms of unbridled fidelity to the cause. The moment they see their bottom line adversely affected, these advertising executives drop the trans movement like John Fetterman slaughters prepositions. This is exactly what Vivek Ramaswamy was talking about or argued in his book, Woke Inc. He argued that corporations actually often use these social justice proclamations just as marketing gimmicks. They're nothing more than marketing tactics to maximize profit rather than genuinely advance progressive social and environmental goals and ideals, which is very, very good news indeed, because what it reveals is that this woke insanity is a mile wide but an inch deep, right? Corporations, well, I should a mile wide and an inch deep. I should do that. That's too deep for woke. In other words, corporations will abandon this nonsense in a heartbeat the moment they sense a massive backlash like Bud Light is experiencing. The moment they sense that, they will throw away all this woke nonsense and they'll go right back to good old-fashioned Americana marketing, right? Just ask these so-called trans influencers, right? Just ask the one influencer who's gone from having 100 brand partnerships all set up for June to now barely, or just next to zero. And so much for the fidelity to the cause among these marketing executives, these virtue signaling marketing executives who will abandon it in a heartbeat the moment they realize their bottom line's affected. In fact, it's not just trans influencers who are recognizing the sudden chill from marketing executives. This is interesting. Even so-called human rights organizations, I just love that term, human rights how do you dissent from that, right? They're all they're all far left, right? So the moment you dissent from anything a human rights organization promotes, by definition, now you're anti-human. Right? But even human rights organizations are recognizing this hypocrisy among Woke Inc. USA Today is reporting that Anheuser-Busch, the maker of Bud Light, of course, has officially, I kid you not now, I hope you're sitting down, they have officially lost their LGBTQ plus rating from an organization called the Human Rights Campaign. The Human Rights Campaign has suspended Anheuser-Busch's Corporate Equality Index score, which evaluates companies based on their policies for LGBTQ plus employees. So companies with a score of 100, I think that's a perfect score, I'm assuming, receive a, quote, best places to work for LGBTQ plus equality seal of approval. I'm learning this stuff right along with you, gang. Anheuser-Busch, you may like to know this, previously had a score of 100. According to Human Rights Campaign, they were a perfect 100 for best places to work for LGBTQ plus equality. But no longer. No longer. Nope. No. Now Anheuser-Busch has 90 days to respond to the Human Rights Campaign, where they face a potential reduction to their score. I can't do this. I can't. I can't even believe there are people like this. I mean, how anyone could take this kind of banter seriously, I'll never understand. We're literally, we're not on different planets. We're in different galaxies. How this narcissistic organization, the so-called human rights campaign, a campaign that speaks on behalf of all of humanity. Let that hit you. Why they would think they matter at all to economic and business dynamics in any way, shape, or form, I'll never get it. I'll never get, especially in light of the latest numbers that have just come out for Bud Light. Market shares of Anheuser-Busch, the parent company of Bud Light, have dropped 7.6% since the company reported earnings on May 4th. The decline in stock value, of course, is attributed to the ongoing, that's key, the ongoing controversy surrounding Dil Mulvaney. This thing has teeth. We knew it from the very beginning. This thing had teeth. This was not going to go away. Bud Light execs thought, oh, don't worry, it'll be done in a weekend. A little hoopla, and it's done. No way. And we're going to talk about precisely why this was the single most successful boycott in history, right? We get to savor the taste of victory in this, and we continue to savor it. Keeps going. The bleeding won't stop. It won't stop. Data from Bump, Williams Consulting, and Nielsen NIQ shows that Bud Light sales during the week of May 6th declined by nearly 24% compared to the same period last year. That marks, get this, the fourth consecutive week of declining sales for Bud Light. A month of consecutive declining sales. 4 weeks in a row. This is why so many are arguing it's the most successful boycott ever. Conservative commentator Matt Walsh agrees, quote, "We have devastated Bud Light with this boycott. Easily the most effective conservative boycott in American history, and it shows us the path forward. All it takes is a little bit of strategic planning and follow through. The great thing is that this was completely grassroots. Many prominent Republicans were actively against the boycott. We did this on our own. A great victory, but it is not over. In other words, keep going. Don't let the pressure off for a moment. We want Bud Light crying uncle and crying it loudly for all other businesses who are thinking of going woke to hear loud and clear. And that's exactly what seems to be happening with these reports of trans influencers losing their brand deals en masse. Again, somebody having 100 brand deals ready for June, LGBT month, or Gay Pride month, now is down to barely a dozen. And so if these so-called human rights organizations think that threatening these dying businesses with downgrading their LGBTQ plus ratings, that they actually think that that's going to intimidate anyone as compared to the massive boycotts coming from mid-America, it's destroying their stock value and their sales, then these human rights campaigns are more out of touch with reality than any of us thought. Hey gang, if you want to connect with more courageous patriots and start taking action and organizing, be sure to join my Telegram group. I post the latest breaking news I find interesting and chat with my favorite patriots around the country and even the world. Click the link in the description below and join the conversation today.